Hello. I hope you are ready to do some reading. I hope you're ready to do some wintry reading because I have some winter-themed selections to read to you today. We will start with a few poems. This is from Out and About by Shirley Hughes. We've read poems about spring, we've read poems about summer, we've read poems about fall, and now we will read poems about winter from this book. Hoping. Gray day, dark at 4, hurry home, shut the door. Think of a time when there will be decorations on a tree, tangerines and hot mince pies, a bulging stocking, a Christmas surprise. Fire. Fire is a dragon, better beware. Dangerous and beautiful, better take care. Puffing out smoke as soon as it's lit, licking up leaves, crackle and spit. Sending up sparks into the sky that hover a moment and suddenly die. Fire is a dragon, alive in the night. Fiery dragon, glittering bright. They lit their fire on the beach. I imagine in the winter, if you were lighting a fire, you would probably do it in your fireplace. Cold. Cold fingers, cold toes. Pink sky, pink nose. Hard ground, bare trees. Branches crack, puddles freeze. Frost white, sun red. Warm room, warm bed. Some wintry poems from Out and About. The next wintry selection I have for you is a story from Old Bear and His Friends by Jane Hissey. This one is called Polly and the Warm Snowman. Oh, and this first line reminds me of the winter we had here this year. There had not been a single flake of snow all winter. Almost every morning the toys had crowded eagerly onto the windowsill, hoping to look out to a snow-covered garden. Some of the newer toys had never seen snow, and they were just beginning to wonder whether perhaps it didn't really exist. And then one morning there it was, a thick blanket of snow over everything. They woke up and wondered why it was so quiet. There were no footsteps on the path or wheels on the road. Even the birds were too busy keeping warm to sing. The toys almost fell off the windowsill, they were so excited. "We'll build a snowman," they shouted, and all rushed to the door and tumbled into the garden in a heap. It was then that they realized just how deep the snow was. Only the tallest teddy bears with the longest legs could actually walk about. Many of the others had disappeared completely. "Oh dear," said the muffled voice of Polly, a particularly small bear. "I can't move at all. The snow is so deep it comes up to my ears." The others helped to pull her out, and then Freddie the teddy fetched a tea tray from the kitchen. All the smaller toys clambered onto the tray and were towed across the snow-covered lawn by the bigger ones. They walked round and round the garden until they found a place that looked just right for their snowman, and then they set to work. Freddie and the other big bears made a snowball and began to roll it across the garden. As it rolled, it picked up more and more snow and left a trail behind it of bare grass, just like a wiggly green path. The small bears were very pleased to see this, and, Leaving their tea tray sled, they ran along the green path and helped the big bears push the heavy snowball. After a while, the snowball was large enough to be the body of a snowman. "We need a head now," said Polly, and began to pat a snowball into shape with her paws. They rolled this one right round the lawn, making a big O-shaped path, and arrived back at the snowman's body with the snowball big enough to be his head. "How are we going to get it up on top of the body?" asked Freddie. "Even I can't reach." Let me show you a picture of Freddie. He's in another story here. There's Freddie. But Polly had a plan. "We've got the tea tray," she said. "We'll roll the snowball head onto the tray and pull it up with a rope. It shouldn't be too difficult." They all rolled the snowman's head onto the tray and threaded a skipping rope through the handles. Then the strongest bears climbed up to the top of the snowman's body with the ends of the rope and pulled. Slowly, the tea tray, with the snowball head on it, rose into the air until it was level with the bears. "It's up! We've done it!" shouted Freddie, and he rolled the head neatly into place. The toys down below cheered and jumped up and down with excitement. "He needs a face," called one little bear. The tea tray was lowered down, and some of the toys went off to fetch coal for the snowman's eyes, a carrot for his nose, and twigs for his mouth and eyebrows. Very soon the snowman was smiling down at them with his twiggy mouth and his shining coal-black eyes. Before Freddie climbed down, he took off his own stripy scarf and tied it round the neck of the snowman. "He looks lovely," said Polly. "We'll keep him forever and ever, and come and play with him every day." They spent the whole afternoon in the garden, throwing snowballs, and making slopes out of snow and sliding down them on the tray. When it began to get dark, they said good night to the snowman and went indoors to bed. The next morning the sun was shining brightly, and the toys couldn't wait to get outside. But when they opened the door, they all stopped and stared. "Somebody's stolen our snowman!" cried Freddie. It seemed to be true. The lovely snowman had vanished. Then Polly noticed something lying on the ground. "But they left behind the carrot nose," she said. "And the coal eyes," added Freddie, "and my scarf." And then they realized what had happened to their snowman. He hadn't been stolen. He'd melted. What's more, the snow had almost gone too. There wasn't enough to build another snowman. Feeling very sad, the toys began to play with the last of the snow. But the sun was quite warm now, and even the last of the snow was melting fast. Polly had an idea and went indoors again. The others could see her sitting by the window, knitting. She looked up and waved every now and again, but she seemed very busy. By the end of the day, the grass was as green as it was in summer. The only snow left was in a shady bit under the tree. The toys gave up trying to make things with snow and trooped indoors. "It's nearly spring now," said Freddie to Polly, when he found her sitting by the fire. "I don't think it will snow again this winter, so we won't be able to make another snowman for a whole year." "No," said Polly, "but I have a surprise for you, Freddie." And she pointed to a corner of the room. In soft white wool, with black eyes and a carrot-shaped nose, stood a little knitted snowman. He was smiling at Freddie, and was wearing a knitted hat and scarf, just like Freddie's own. "He's a warm snowman, Freddie," said Polly. "I knitted him myself. The outdoor snowman may have melted, but this one never will." "We can play with him all year," said Freddie. "Oh, Polly, you are clever." And holding one white arm each, they led the little warm snowman out of the room to show all the other toys. Of course, he never melted. In fact, he's still there to this day. The end. Snow is great, and making snowmen is great, but, of course, snowmen melt. If you were going to make a snowman that would not melt, what would you make him out of? Alright, that's all I have for today. Thanks for listening.